So we're on another episode of Athlete POV here. We're sitting here with Antonio Hill, DB, University of Washington. We're excited to have him on. Excited to hear what he has to say. Let's get right into it, man. So what I found most interesting was that you're a JUCO product. You come from Santa Monica College. What was it like, and how was your journey to get to Washington?
I mean, so I played at Santa Monica College, and as a JUCO player, and I'm sure many other JUCO players know about this. Like, it can be discouraging when you're playing JUCO because you're trying to find that way. You're trying to find your way to, the school you always dreamed of going to. So it can be really discouraging, and I was discouraged at one point, and I actually did. I gave up. I took a year off. I took a little time off because
Hmm.
I was like, I don't really, I don't want to put my, I always work hard, and I'm not a quitter. I don't give up, but I was like, it comes to a time where is this for me? Is this for me? So I I actually just continue to get the best grades I can in order to, open up opportunities. And,
Hmm.
University of Washington ended up, giving me a shot. So, it's a blessing. And, on the other side, I'm happy to be able to play again and be able to do, the things that I love, praise God while I'm playing football. I'm at church right now. That's what I stand by. So
Of course.
I ask God many times, like, like, if this is for me, I know you'll present that opportunity to me. So it's a blessing.
Of course. 100%. And now, being from Washington yourself, did that play a role for Washington being where you ultimately wanted to end up?
Yeah, I I kind of I wanted to be like in the sun. I'm a military child, so I lived everywhere.
Hmm.
Originally from California, but I went to high school out here. But I mean, I did wanted to be like I wanted a little bit of sun, but then I realized like Seattle isn't a bad place. I actually enjoy it here. It
Right.
actually feels like home. So I'm like that I feel like this is the place where I need to be, and I'm loving it, and I couldn't ask for a better home,
Hmm.
honestly.
100%, man. And then when you say you took a year off, like you mentioned earlier, would you say, I don't know if you consider that a weakness, because I'm not sure of your reason for ultimately taking a year off. But what would you say from your whole athletic like career thus far? What would you say your biggest weakness is, and how would you combat that?
My biggest weakness is, you know, well, it was because I feel like I got stronger in this area, but once before, my one of my weaknesses was, sometimes I would doubt myself, like,
Mm.
and I feel like every athlete does in some point of their life or some area, you'll doubt yourself, and you you kind of beat yourself up because you want to be the biggest, fastest, strongest. That's not how sports work. It's about a mentality
Mm.
and being able to know, like, okay, if I it's about outsmarting your opponent. So, and that comes with just the mentality. You can outsmart someone through your mentality. You can line up. Me, I play corner, so I'm on the island, so I'm lining up. This dude might run a 4-3. This dude might be,
Right. Right.
super fast, but in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna win this rep. I'm gonna win this rep, and I'm gonna continue to win. But doubt is big, and I feel like when you eliminate doubt, you play with full confidence. That's how you can be the best athlete you can possibly be.
Mm. Definitely. I mean, sometimes people love to be doubted because it just pushes them to do something that they haven't done before. Um,
Right?
how big do you think doubt plays into how you've progressed so far?
So I've been doubted a lot. I'm I was smaller. I just started putting on weight, and I was doubted. I went through a rough time. I got accused of being recruited to go to the high school that I went to. So I was put all over the news for that, and it took a toll on me as a
Hmm.
young high schooler. So all the schools that were really interested in me, they just stopped talking to me, and it
Hmm.
was it was that was real discouraging because you know they accused me of getting recruited because I lived in like a predominantly white neighborhood. It was wealthy. It's wealthy
I
there
know what
too.
you mean, yeah. And then once people see that,
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with this.
exactly. So they're like, "Yep, we don't want this." So there was titles about me and all this. So I had to go JUCO, and like I said, JUCO, there's no guarantees.
100%.
There's no guarantees at all. So I just, I thank God because I was in a, and that's one thing people don't keep in mind with athletes that they don't know that we're also humans. We also have feelings. We go through things. We have life outside of just the sport. So I went through a rough time. I was down and out. I was at my lowest. And people see me now where I'm at. A lot of people see me. People that I come across now, they see me for where I'm at now, but they don't know like my story. So
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I can't tell everyone my story. That would just it would take too much time.
Hmm.
But I feel like if I make it to the next level or whatever happens, like I'll be able to give people that testimony not to give up on because I feel like no matter the athlete, like if you really are dedicated and you really want to do it, that can happen. And just having faith, that's why I'm a Christian because my faith, I feel like my faith has got me.
Right. And you can say how it's not possible. Some people could say that, but I mean, you're living proof right now that you're on the path to where you want to get to, which
Right.
which brings me to my next thing. What are some long-term goals for you? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, say? Or, well, obviously you would like to be obviously maybe NFL player, you know, but
Yeah, that would
like
be amazing. NFL player, whatever. Honestly, like I just want to do God's work for real.
mm,
I'm a good Christian, and I try to be better. I try to live in the image of Jesus, and there's many temptations, but I feel like I'm put in this situation so I can help others. I try my best to. People go through many things, and a lot of people put on fake smiles and stuff, and it's sad to see that because I know where true happiness comes from, and that's the Lord. So I just want to be happy, and being happy is me praising God and thanking Him for the blessings that He brings into my life. But I do want to, in 5 years, man, I don't know, I want to live with no doubts. I want to prepare for my future right now, and for that means to like actually focus and maybe one day do real estate or something like that. Like I love houses, something like that. If the next level doesn't present itself, I'll take it as like okay, this is I have something. God has something else in store for me. So you
definitely.
know,
And I can see not even knowing you too well, just the way you're talking, the way you're like presenting yourself. You're very, you have like an idea. I feel like I feel like all men like have like some path they gotta follow, and I feel like you're on that. Whether it be continuing in sports or whether it be like you mentioned real estate, and then having the mindset of just a Christian behind you is just setting you up, I feel, for the right way that you're gonna go.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's a blessing, man. I got closer with the Lord after going through those things that I went through, and He never let me down. And man, I can't even explain the amount of like blessings He's put in my life, and I would feel selfish to not, give back and pay it forward.
Definitely. What does next year look like for Washington? How's the DB room look, and what are some goals
Oh
for
man,
next year?
we got a lot of talent, man. Like, last year we had the number one pass defense in the country. So, and then our two corners from last year, they're both into the draft. They're both projected to get, drafted first round. So, you know, I was like the same age as those dudes too. I'm a little older, and I told them, I give credit where it's due. I'm like, man, you guys set an example for us, and
Hmm.
shoot, if you guys are getting drafted first round, I'm gonna do what you guys did in order to, put myself in that situation. So, we had our coaching staff. We got a whole new coaching staff. They seem like some dope people, and I'm excited to get to work. And I see us doing a lot of good things this year. And I'm excited. It's gonna be fun, man.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
When now leading up to this season and obviously before now, right now, what's like some of the biggest training things that you do? Like you always a non-negotiable have to do while training. What's that like?
So training, I make sure to stretch. Like, you know, stretching is stretching is more important than like getting going on the field and like just
Mobility.
running. You can't, yeah, running until you can't move anymore. Like stretching will get you faster. That's what I realized, and
Hmm.
I I I definitely need to continue to stretch because my hamstrings feeling a little tight. So I feel like stretching could like if you're mobile, if your hips are flexible, if you're flexible. That's what I want to do yoga and stuff, and
Right,
I
right.
want to try to do because other sports they translate over for football.
Definitely.
So I want to do probably yoga, just loosen up, loosen my hips, and I feel like I'll be able to play smooth and relax on the field. So that's what I'm hoping for, during this off season. Just play comfortable and have the most flexible hips, so I can be able to, fly around and make plays.
Of course.
Yeah,
I feel like in like even high school, mobility is like not put too not enough emphasis is put on it. I feel like everything is just lifting weights and trying to getting big or gaining muscle. But mobility, stretching, yoga, like you mentioned, that's very important. Arguably, like you said, more important, the most important thing. But then
yeah.
along with that, we have nutrition. How big does like nutrition and the food you put in your body play an effect to how you operate on the field, whether it's training or during game day or something?
So nutrition, I didn't really know how important it was until I actually got to this university and started playing and stuff. But yeah, it uh it definitely plays a big role. Like I used to drink a lot of sugary drinks, and I still do a little bit. I used to drink sodas and stuff like that, but after drinking a few sodas, you get on that field and run a little bit, like your chest is gonna feel like
Not the best.
it's not gonna feel too good, and then also you don't want to put anything too greasy into your body or anything too heavy because when you're running, it's gonna weigh you down. It actually weigh you down. Like I remember, it was one day I ate so much like pizza and stuff. It was good. It's good, but the next day, working out, I was like, wow, I feel like I got a 45-pound weight in my plate in my stomach. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it definitely plays a big role in like just just to even avoiding injuries as well. Like food you put in good food, you don't get good results. So, I feel like I could tighten up some a little bit in those areas because I still like my junk food here and there. Who doesn't? But it's about knowing when you should have those cheat days.
Right. And like you said, good food, good results. I feel like nutrition is just one more aspect to getting a step ahead of your competition. Because
Yeah.
say, well, it all comes down to this. Like one say cheat meal is just one meal that you're behind. Say, um, another athlete that's competing right with you. So if you look at everything in like micro, like the micro, I don't know how to say it, like the little things, so
Yeah.
important and they add up. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Just the little things, man, to separate you. That's because when you're playing at a high level, everyone's good. You're not. It's
Yeah.
everyone's good. That's why they're there. So you can't. You gotta be in order to elevate and take the next step to surpass your competition or anybody. Like it really comes down to those small details,
Right.
you know.
And how you
So
separate yourself.
right, so it's just a whole aspect of like, okay, if I say you might do a workout, but you might have to get a little bit of like more work afterwards after the workout in order to like okay, you might be burnt out, but just that extra work afterwards will separate you and just paying attention to detail.
Yeah. So last thing I have here, if you have any advice you give to other athletes, what would you say to someone that's struggling with something or going through a tough time? Like any advice you would give?
Uh, you know, life there's cycles in life, and you're not gonna always be at your happiest, and that's one thing people fail to forget. I mean to remember, you gotta always just stay positive through everything, through just being. There's times where you're gonna be down and out. There's times, like I said, there's times where you're gonna doubt yourself, but it's about knowing like, okay, I got this, and as long as if I put my effort in, if I'm serious, if I want to do this, then I'm gonna make it happen. And if you do that, you're gonna see good results. And I know that myself, that's still things I have to tell myself. Sometimes you got to take your own advice, but I know that I know that as you go through things, you got to remember that there's always going to be a brighter side on the end, and that's why I'll tell anybody this, but man, the power of God is a different breed. So man, he moves mountains. So I would say pray, like things I some of the things I pray for, man. Like it's it's crazy how he'll make those happen within less than 24 hours. I've seen things that I prayed for that so hey, it's um just keeping your mental right. Don't be consumed by the world.
Mm.
Don't be consumed by the world. Don't let social media take over who you are as a person. Don't lose yourself to social media. Like
It's
that's
definitely
one
easy.
thing. Don't try to don't 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 sell out. Don't sell out to please people.
Mm.
Stay true to yourself. And when you stay true to yourself and you can know that this is who I am and I I know I love the person who I am. If you don't if you constantly feel like you gotta change to please other people, then that's when you're gonna live with anxiety and just different pressures that you never had before. So staying true to
Wow,
yourself,
man.
yeah,
100%. I mean, the past couple minutes, you were just like fact after fact, man. That's stuff to live by. Like that one clip is gonna go. Someone watches that, it can change their life. Honestly, if they stick to what you just said,
right,
consistency, having faith in God,
yeah,
um, taking stuff like one at a time.
yeah,
Everything you just mentioned, that's all great stuff. Very valuable for people to hear. And overall, wow.
yeah. Those are the things I wish I heard, a year and a half ago, a couple years ago, because it definitely um, it took some hard, long nights and took a lot of pain for me to realize these things. And, like I said, on the other side, you'll see nothing but joy and happiness, man. It's a blessing, though, for real. And, if those things didn't happen to me in high school, I would have went straight to D1 program right
Mm,
after high school, and I probably I wouldn't have this type of wisdom,
it's mindset.
I, this type of mindset, and I probably wouldn't have grown as close to God. So, yeah, man.
Blessings.
So I really feel like those are big things. Also, that's one thing as an athlete, it's important to make you know to have social capital. You got to make connections. Like don't people they forget. As an athlete, you forget like okay, of course you're gonna have like an entourage of people because they're like, oh, you're an athlete, you play sports, like oh,
Definitely.
people want to be around you. But get to know people because it's a difference between someone knowing who you are and you guys actually knowing each other. So that's one thing I would say, because
Mm,
I am in the Greek system. I joined a fraternity, so
mm.
learning that, that being around that, I'm like, okay, connections is deep because you never know somebody that go to school with or somebody that you're around. It might give you that job that when you don't know that. So just keeping a good social network is big.
Right. And now let me just add on. When you talk about social networks, I feel like that's so important because I feel like not enough athletes or maybe just people in general don't realize that connections are more valuable than so many things in life that you can get on your own. Because when you
Right.
know people, you have access to now their contacts if they would like do a favor for you, you know? So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like especially with Greek life, you said like, oh yeah, if I'm doing something and then this person's hiring for a job and I need one, yeah, you can help me out here. And the same can go the other way if you need something
Right.
like something as simple as I don't know, can I borrow your car or something like that if
Yeah,
you need to drive
exactly.
somewhere.
Literally anything.
Yeah, that the whole
Yeah.
thing connections are super important.
Right. Right. So, like you said, like can I borrow your car? Stuff like that. Like I live in my frat house still. Like so I might need something. I just text in our big group chat and like here this person got it. So it's just simple things like that. Having people that actually that and they know you, man, that's huge. So it's deeper than just sports. Everything is deeper than just sports. The
Definitely.
mindset, playing, the mindset, and playing with. If your mental health is if you got a clear mind, you will be able to play at your best on the field. I promise. Like that's the biggest thing.
It's
Having a
so
clear
important.
mind, not thinking of anything else, not letting anything else take over your thought process while you're on that field. Like I'm pretty sure some of the biggest athletes will tell you that. I don't know. I'm just saying that because I can see I see
Right.
it from
You're living through it.
yeah. So I'm excited to see what this next season has to hold.
Definitely, man. Wow.
Yeah.
It's been great talking to you. This has been amazing. A lot of like just facts after over and over from you. It's
Yeah.
great to hear like an athlete that's smart and like can talk about certain things that they've struggled with, things that they're doing now, and the ways that they're going to become better as a person with time and consistency. So, I mean, it was great to talk to you. Antonio Hill, Washington cornerback. It was great to have you on, man.
Sir, man, thanks for having me out. I appreciate it. Let me know. I'm down to do another one too. Figure it out.
Of course, man.